by the time someone's listening to this, I think this idea will have already run its course. To quote Bryan Cranston, this is probably the best bad idea we've ever had.
When did Bryan Cranston say that?
It was in Argo. When Ben Affleck, when he comes to the director with
his character said it.
Yeah, his character said it.
I thought actual Bryan Cranston said it. Like, which of his superstar movies is he referring to?
Godzilla? I don't know if letting them fight is a good idea, Mr. Watanabe. Also, I think I'm dead.
I don't know what he's been in lately. In the movies, I should say.
What?
He was in Madagascar 3.
Was he? As who?
Europe's Most Wanted.
As who, though?
The Russian tiger.
Oh, yeah.
That could jump through a circle. But it was a really tiny circle.
Afro circus.
Don't fucking... I don't know who in the fucking world thought that those two things went together. They tried really hard, but no.
Anyway, welcome to our podcast called Whistle While You Dork, a new podcast where we talk about pop culture things and also other things, because we're both idiots. We're really stupid idiots, and we really shouldn't be doing this, but we are. My name is Brandon, and joined by me, as always, is my co-host, Mr.
What? Argo? Drew. I'm Drew. I am legitimately still trying to think of a Bryan Cranston movie, though. What's he been in lately?
We're past that bit, Drew. Goddamn.
It's not even a bit anymore. It's consumed me. What is he done with the movies now? Where is he? What's he up to?
Since Godzilla, I honestly don't know.
Wait a minute. The internet!
We have.
Of course! Whistle While You Dork was the last thing that I looked up on this internet. Like, is this taken?
Hey, will we be sued if we use this name? No? Okay.
Though now I'm starting to think it should be called Whistle While You Idiot, because...
But that doesn't rhyme with work, Drew.
Yeah, but you said are we more idiots or dorks? Like, where do we really fit in?
Why can't we be both? Like... Whoever made Adventure Time.
I mean, I feel like we really need Dork to be emphasized, or we're not going to be doing the title justice. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, we got to really sell the Dork side.
Dork. Yeah. The Dork side. The Dork side of the Force.
No, I don't give a
The Dorks,
fuck.
incidentally, the Dork side of the Force are people who hate Episode 7 for being Episode 7. Any luck on that Cranston film?
He was in fucking Power Rangers.
Oh, right! He was...
Yeah.
He was Zordon. Oh, God.
This is the good old Zorgo.
Zordon. God. Zordon.
Zodi.
Zordon.
Zodi.
Eat your Krispy Kremes. Incidentally, this podcast is brought to you by Your Name Here, maker of the finest goods or provider of services. Your Name Here, you know them from The Thing. Anywho.
Also sponsored by the hilarious comedy from last Christmas, Why Him?
Oh, yeah. with Franco and Emma Roberts, right?
Apparently,
yeah.
Bryan Cranston was in The Disaster Artist, which is made by James Franco. And if you've ever actually seen a James Franco movie, you know that's just a horrible, horrible thing.
Franco plays Tommy Wiseau, right?
I don't know who the fuck plays Tommy Wiseau, but I know that James Franco should be shocked every time he touches the camera.
Anyway, so the way that much of this podcast goes is, we talk about stuff that happened in our week, stuff that happened in pop culture, stuff that happens in our minds, original content, and the like, which brings us to the first installment of our somewhat recurring segment, Factual Truths. Drew and I will attempt to tell a story that we've never told one another, and the one other person will react accordingly. Do you have your story ready? I'll go first, but
I've got a story for you.
You got a story?
Yep.
Okay, mine has a little bit of a backstory. So I don't really love it anymore, but I loved Yu-Gi-Oh! The anime, despite its horrible 4Kids localization, the trading card game, everything from elementary school to like about freshman to sophomore year of high school. Loved it. Watched the anime religiously, collected the trading cards, dueled people where I could, and then the game got kind of crappy. Archetype. Anywho, the point is I'm not a fan anymore. But when I was, I think it was freshman year of high school, and we had the library in our building. And I went inside. They had these things in there that people used to read. Books. No. They had these things in there that people used to read called magazines. And
you're actually serious about that?
No, I am serious.
I thought you were leading to another Josh.
Really, no. The one the one of the magazines that our school shockingly carried. I'm surprised they even had copies of this. Was Shonen Jump. Shonen Jump is anime news / manga magazine. I think it was just a general anime magazine. I don't even know if it was Shonen Jump. I assume it was, though. And I was just browsing through one day in my free time, and I found it, oh, this is interesting. Anime, nice. Yu-Gi-Oh! Was on the front there. I flipped to the back, and I kid you not, was a brand new mint condition holographic Yu-Gi-Oh card with like amazing attack, defense power. I'm like, wow, this is a rare card. I'm like, rip. I took the card off the plastic stickiness on the back. It was fine. It was like just.
I thought you were saying you just like, wow, look at this rare card, and you ripped it in half.
No,
I'm like,
no.
what?
No one can have this. It's too powerful.
I'm like, well, it's a good story.
No, so I took it out, and I'm hunched over. I'm like, no one sees me, right? No one's in there. I'm like, I don't know what the hell I was looking out for. I took it back to my locker, stuck it in the top of my locker, and then took it home. And I'm like, wow, I got this new rare card. I checked back again the next month in the same magazine. Sure enough, it was the next month's issue. And in the back was another rare card. I'm like, that's mine now. But karma got me on that one. I stuck it in my pocket because I think I didn't have time to go back to my locker, and it got kind of bent. And I was like, this awesome rare card is in there. I checked the next month. I flipped to the back. There was no card, which means either they took it out, they got a used edition with it taken out already, or someone beat me to it.
Did you ever do it the months after that, or that was...
I checked time and again, but a new one was never there. So I got two pretty decently good rare cards from my school's public library.
Now, do they still matter to you?
I do have a deck for competing, and both are in it. They're both really good cards. The one especially, Vendalgan, the Dark Dragon Lord, is really great for in combination with counter traps against your foes. But if they have an archetype deck, I might as well just give up. I know. I hope people listening to this know what I'm talking about.
I don't.
A reaction.
And I'm a dork. It doesn't even whistle.
Can you not whistle?
I can.
Oh, okay.
Then we'd be doing...
Whistle while you're dork. I can't whistle. Can you? No. Oh.
Brandon.
Seems like a bad idea.
I care about representing the word dork, but the word whistle, fuck it. Just hum in spite. Brandon, what have you done? The accuracy levels are off the charts.
I suppose they are. So what do you got?
All right, I'm gonna tell you what the story is. I'm just gonna summarize it real quick.
Okay.
You need to know that I'm not joking. It's true, and I will let you ask.
Well, this segment is called Factual Truths.
Yes.
So if you're putting
Yeah,
non-facts in there, I'd hate for that to...
I just don't want you to think that I'm joking. And if you have questions,
Okay,
you can ask me.
I will ask you during this recording or when we're done.
Okay. I tried to start a gay phone sex line in a treehouse.
Whose treehouse? Or just a friend's treehouse?
Yeah, you know him.
Yeah, okay. How old are you?
It's like 2 years ago.
Oh.
Like 21.
Well, how does one go about setting up such a service?
I'd have to get a landline, and I would have fed it into the treehouse because I wanted a private place to make my clients come. And it wasn't my house, it wasn't my treehouse, but the house owner was chill with it. He was like, "Yeah, go for it, man." He was probably more encouraging.
So it worked, is what you're saying.
I never did it.
Oh, you didn't?
No.
Oh, well, that makes your story lame.
I tried to. Is the interesting part, is that I ever thought of even doing it.
Hey, you know what's easy money? Phone sex.
It's something I thought I could do, but I at the end of the day, I feel like these people that are looking to jerk off to gay stuff deserve someone that's just a little more passionate about it. I knew I couldn't deliver the goods like a real gay boy could. And I don't even mean like an actual homosexual person, just someone that, is like, well, that's a gay boy right over there.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
I guess I do. Anyway.
I like how there's never the question, hey, why?
I assume money. Was I wrong?
I mean, there are other things to do for money.
Like?
Porn?
Anyway, that brings us... I found that story rather disappointing. Oh no, that brings us into...
I don't know, man.
The theme of today's show, which is disappointment.
I didn't think it was a disappointing story.
Well, it doesn't matter what you think.
Let's see how it is.
Yes. So talking about disappointment, I think we'll start with movies. There's a general, in the common film critic zeitgeist going around is like, no movie is like a masterpiece anymore. Someone's expectations are always not quite up to par with what they were perceiving, and definitely we can see that in movies, but also with other things as well, so we might get into that. But I want to lead off with a sort of disappointing experience I had about a week ago. I was on a plane, and I had downloaded this through Netflix's new feature. I'd never seen An American Tail, the Steven Spielberg animated movie with Amblin, the little mouse who comes to America, tries to, find his family after he gets separated from them on the journey over. And I've been told, like, oh, this is a Don Bluth movie. He's, it's got great animation. It's got a warm ending that, just tugs at the heartstrings. I'm like, I'm in the mood for that, But the thing is, before I even saw An American Tail, I watched An American Tail, Fievel Goes West, the sequel. And that movie, which I watched about a month ago prior to seeing An American Tail, I'm like, forget nostalgia, this movie is much, much better than I remembered it. The comedy with Dom DeLuise was great. The fact that they got Jimmy Stewart in his final film role ever as the dog, Sheriff Wiley Burp, is great.
What?
Yeah.
Whoa, Jimmy Stewart doing animation sounds awesome.
To the best of my knowledge, I don't know if he's done any other voiceover work. But yeah, animation's still good. I think it's still... I don't know how much Mr. Bluth had a hand in, its composition. The villain's good, played by John Cleese. The songs are great. They're really fast, lots of energy. And the action at the end is good. There's a straight up, spaghetti western standoff between Tiger, Wiley Burp, Fievel, and the other cats that are running this town and are trying to kill all the mice. And it ended. I'm like, this is a really nice, good kids movie. I'm watching An American Tail, and I'm like, ooh boy. The first thing I will say, animation, really good. Definitely expectations met. The father character, Papa Mousekewitz, really great. I'd call him one of the best animated father characters there is. He's funny. He cares very much for his children. He's very optimistic and headstrong, and is looking forward to their new life in America. But at the same time, the movie begins in Russia, and they leave during a quote unquote pogrom, but with cats. The mice, which I didn't realize before the movie began, the mice are actually Jewish. Like it opens with a Hanukkah celebration. I'm like, oh, that's very interesting. But then the cats drive them out of Russia. Then they board a ship in Germany, and they're sailing over, and a lot of the allegories that go on in the movie are similar reasons why Western Europeans and Eastern Europeans left for America in the 19th century. It's like, oh well, the mafia was controlling Sicily, and here it's a cat. Like all the reasons for leaving are cat related. But then they sing the song, "There are no cats in America, and the streets are paved with cheese." Really looking forward to this idea of the American dream. And then they get there, and Fievel's separated on the ship, and then the whole after they arrive at Ellis Island, or Fievel by other means, I think the movie just kind of falls apart, because then the pacing just drops, because then it's more or less Fievel is taken from Liberty Island to look for his family in Midtown Manhattan or somewhere, and then and these scenes barely last enough time to take it in and appreciate what the character's gone through and what is being done to them, because then he gets deceived by this cat posing as a rat called Warren T. Rat, and he gets stuck in this workhouse. And then he meets this Boss Tweed mouse, who clearly thinks that reuniting him with his family will score him political points and stuff like that. And the stakes of the movie are him finding his family, but at the same time there's oh well, we're in America, and surprise, there are cats, so we need to take care of this cat problem. But it never really amounts to anything other than, we have this problem with cats. And then at the rally that he goes to, he whispers to one of the head mice, is hey, we should build this thing, and then they build the thing, and that's it. And then everything else is just boom boom boom, paint by numbers. And then I guess after the cats are driven out at the end of the movie, there is a brief moment of tug at the heartstrings, where he's knocked unconscious, and you're not sure if he's going to get up, and his family is desperately looking for him at this point, because they know it's him, and that he didn't perish on the journey over. And then he's reunited with his family. I thought that was really sweet. So not a bad movie, but I was really looking for more Pixar knock your socks off type thing, or even to compare to what I think is a much better Don Bluth film, The Land Before Time. The Land Before Time, I think, is one of the best animated movies ever made.
Which one?
The first one.
Not the 14th?
No, not the 14th. Not The Wisdom of Friends. No.
I like the one where a baby T-Rex spends the whole movie trying to find his lost tooth.
Oh, I was gonna say Chopper got introduced in the second movie. But apparently you're thinking of one way down the line.
No, I swear I might be misremembering something, but I just remember it was the end of the fucking movie that I was catching. Is this T-Rex, a baby one, singing a triumphant song, I finally found my tooth. Is that what this is all fucking building up to?
Those are the stakes, Drew. Teeth are valuable.
Fucking Christ. What? Why is that even... Whatever. Let's not even talk about that.
So The Land Before Time, I think, really good movie, really heartbreaking opening, and then a really dangerous and violent third act, and then happy at the end. I didn't really get that with an American Tail. Have you seen any of the American Tail movies? Really?
It's been a long time, Brandon. It's just been too long a time for me to remember. I feel like I saw an American Tail maybe in high school for similar reasons. I went, oh, let me catch this pick that people are talking about. But I don't know. I feel like I saw it, but I don't remember. I know I saw The Secret of Nim.
It's another good Don Bluth movie.
Only Bluth movie that I can confirm I've actually seen. I don't know that I've seen any of the other ones. I mean,
have you not seen Limbo for Time?
I don't think I have. It was on my list for a very long time. I had this movie list, and there are like just a handful of movies that were always there, and I never got to. Mommy Dearest is one of them. And I heard
that wasn't so good.
Here's a bit of a disappointing story. Actually, I wasn't even planning on sharing
Tell
this.
me.
Is that I was in the mood for a child abuse drama. I don't know why.
Like you are.
And it was interesting because I had remembered, Mommy Dearest. And I went, that's the movie where the famous actress is like beating her daughter and it's based on a true story. I'm like, that's really interesting. And that was on my list forever. I can finally see it. And so I'm acquiring the movie. While I'm waiting for it to acquire, I'm looking it up. And I see that it doesn't really have a great score with critics. And I go, And I don't usually pay mind to what critics think necessarily. Like, I don't take it at, like, oh, well, then it must be that the movie's bad or it must be the movie's good. But I was surprised because I assumed this was regarded as a classic, and usually classics, like, oh, this is great! So I'm like, why are people being so about it? It turns out it's not a classic. It's, like, not a good movie. In fact, it was so bad that people were finding it funny. And the movie, while it was still out, was remarketed as a comedy because people realized that people were going to watch it ironically.
I had all I know from that movie is, the no wire hangers line. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, well, I haven't seen the movie, but I know the line.
Oh, you never ended up seeing it?
No, I did, because that's the thing. I was in the mood for a good child abuse drama. And this is the exact kind of movie.
This isn't the movie I want to see.
It's the exact kind of movie I'd want to see any other day. Like, oh, wow, a so bad it's good comedy about child abuse. That sounds amazing. But it wasn't what I was in the mood for. So I still have never seen Mommy Dearest.
Wow.
The fuck do you want from me?
I don't know.
I still think I told a good story about prostitution.
I'm glad you brought that up. You talked about you expected something, and I mean, I guess you didn't see it, and what you were given was not only not what you were expecting, the polar opposite of what you were expecting.
Yeah, basically.
When you go into a movie, you can pick a current example or even one you watch at home. Do you try to see what others have said about it before seeing it, or do you try to judge for yourself sometimes?
It's a total mixed bag. It just depends on what I feel like. A lot of movies I'll go in super cold. Sometimes I'll be very... I think with current movies that I'm excited for, I can't help but see, all right, what do people think? And I'll read reviews. But for movies that I guess I'm not necessarily hyping, but I want to see, sometimes I'll go in cold, and sometimes I'll really enjoy them, which is awesome. It might have been that way with Whiplash, and I love the movie Whiplash, but I think all I really knew going in was people like it. I'm like, yeah, all right. And I didn't know specifically why they liked it. I just knew people liked it.
Did you watch it pre or post J.K. Simmons' Oscar?
Pre.
Oh, well, good.
Yeah.
Nice.
I watched it like 5 times before he won an Oscar. I loved that movie. But yeah, it's a mixed bag, definitely.
Well, I saw Whiplash with you, and I'm like, oh, well, I know J.K. Simmons is really good in this. He's a good actor on the whole. I really like his work. And then I saw it with you, and I didn't know what to expect. I'm like, this is a movie about a jazz somehow. Never heard of Damien Chazelle before. I'd seen Miles Teller in something. And I watched the movie. I'm like, this is a really, really good movie. So, but I'm at the same time, I'm wondering, like, did I, because you said you really liked it, did I lower my expectations because I wasn't sure what I would get and then saw my expectations succeeded that much more? Or was it simply like, is a movie good on its own merit and can be good to someone regardless of what you think about it going in? Because I've had a lot of recent film experiences where I will watch critical reception, critical reviews. I look at Rotten Tomatoes, I see that it's blank, and I try to set my expectations slightly lower than what most people are saying because I want at least some modicum of enjoyment above what I would be getting from a film on its own merits. Do you think you have that same problem, or is that a problem even?
It's tough to say. The question is basically, do you think my expectations hamper a movie's actual value?
Do they hamper its intrinsic value on an objective basis?
I think so, yeah. I feel like your mood influences the quality of anything, really. Mm-hmm. So if you're in a good mood and you're expecting it to be good when you see it, and it turns out to be good, it's going to be even better. If it turns out to be bad, it's going to be even worse. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I think absolutely the mood you go into a movie with will change its value. And I think that's kind of a cool thing. It's like, you know, every movie has like a unique value because of the people that are watching it. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, maybe someone thought, wow, that Amy Schumer movie called Trainwreck was just a hilarious romp. But maybe, like, the mother whose kids were killed in, like, a train accident was like, oh, man, that title just makes me miss my children. Dang.
Okay.
I'm just saying. It ties in, Brandon. You think about it.
I suppose so. Well, a counterexample is also when it's even better than, like, people made out to be. And it's like, usually, you know, everyone, you know, hypes up, like, oh, it's the best of all time, blah, 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 blah. I was floored when I watched, this was in March, I think, or February, whenever it came out. I remember, this was in 2014, this was a while ago, John Wick got glowing reviews. I'm like, what, the Keanu Reeves action movie? Yeah, it looks generic. And then people were like, no, you have no idea. And I'm like, geez, okay. But I didn't see it. And then I saw Chapter 2 was coming out in February of this year or whatever. And I saw him, like, in preparation. I'm like, oh, I'll see Chapter 1. I was like, oh my God, why can't more action movies be like this? Everything people said about it was true, and then some. Just the lighting, the action sequences, the cinematography, the Keanu, the everything. Just a masterful work of. I'd be remiss to say cinema in general, but definitely action cinema. And then Chapter 2 came out, exceeded my Chapter 1 expectations. I finished that film. I saw it at, like, late at night. I get back and I'm about to go to bed. I'm like, that's never going to happen again, is it? I'm never going to have a movie floor me the way these movies have, unless Chapter 3 is able to pull off a trifecta miracle, but I don't know about that.
You just literally in the span of 30 seconds gave me like 3 miniature stories to share.
Share away, sir.
So I remember...
Are they about John Wick?
The first one is about John Wick. Uh-huh. Is I remember going into it, I thought it was really good, comparable to the first movie. But I remember we were talking about John Wick 2, and one of my friends had already seen it. And I guess I made a joke about how it's not like John Wick 2 is going to be sci-fi. And my friend, he didn't spoil anything, but he said, it might be a little bit. And so it made me think, the whole time I was watching that sequel, I'm waiting for this sci-fi element, and it never fucking came. I'm like, what the fuck were you thinking? Saying, maybe a little bit. Like, what? Guns? Like, I guess that's what he's like.
He's like a
hyper real murder.
Yeah,
it's not fucking sci-fi. Though.
It's not sci-fi. It is hyper realism. Sci-fi implies some kind of futuristic mix, but like, I guess. I don't know. Are they like they're not like magical drugs in it? Are there like it doesn't heal fast?
Oh,
yeah, I don't think so. All the guns are real.
Yeah,
like real world guns. All the locations are real.
I wouldn't call it sci-fi.
I guess the Society of Assassins is kind of sci-fi.
Also,
in like a V for Vendetta kind of sense. But
have you heard of like this asshole Doug Walker?
Doug, if you're listening, I respect your work a lot, and I am a fan. But take it away, Drew.
I mean, why would Doug listen to this?
I don't know. Fans of his might.
If he's listening,
I respect his work.
Doug, if you're listening, fuck you. I don't really care about you, so I don't care. Haven't met you. I bet you were a handsome little boy and enjoy the park somewhat. That's all. You made me feel like I had to say something to Doug.
Okay.
Doug, you're not important in this story, but basically...
You brought him up, that's why I'm asking.
At the time, I was watching his real review of the Muppets movie that had just come out. I think it was 2011.
The Muppets.
And he was talking about how the movie was really, really, really good, but then there was one part right at the end that sort of... retroactively nulled something that had happened in the movie. So I was waiting for that moment. And this is one of the maybe why you shouldn't see reviews, even if they're non-spoiler reviews, because you'll be waiting for these things that people hint toward.
Yeah, non-spoilers, but it's like you know there's something coming, some twist, and you're not sure.
I suppose this is a bit of a spoiler for the Muppets movie, but the Muppets. That is a movie in 2011. Basically, I'm watching this ending. It's a really good ending, objectively, but I'm watching it waiting for there to be that twist where, like, they're gonna nullify the ending and it won't be good anymore. And there's this really fun, good, magical finale, and it's a great shot, and it has fireworks and everything. And any normal person would be like, wow, what a great ending. But I was sitting there going, it's not over yet. It's got to be that part where everything gets nullified. And then the credits start, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Okay, so, I think I know what you're talking about,
though. What happened is that as the credits were going, there were some, post-credits clips that were, well, not post-credits, but during the credits that were playing, and one of them, this is the big spoiler, is like, oh, the villain decided to give the Muppets back their theater after all. Because he had like a bowling ball accident. Like a bowling ball hit him in the head because of Gonzo.
Oh, maybe I missed that then.
And I was like, oh, that's what it was. But I realized, because I was waiting for that one thing, I even cheated out of enjoying the entire finale because I was being all cynical. Thinking, it's not going to last. It's not going to be a good ending.
I thought he was hinting at, spoilers for those who want to see the Muppets, like Kermit... Like, the fundraiser is kaput. Kermit is like, well, we tried our best, but I guess we're gonna press on and, do us. And, like, trying to make the most out of a really negative, bad situation. And then the Deus Ex Machina comes in and is like, oh, the decimal point was too far to the right or something like that. And then it's like, oh, everyone's saved and it's okay.
That didn't even happen, I don't think, in the movie.
Yeah?
No, from my memory, they were not able to raise the money. They got really close, but they weren't able to, so they lost the theater, and they were really upset, and they wound up leaving, but everyone was cheering them on, and even though they had lost the theater, they had gained people's respect, and they were, like, popular again. And so what was the nullifying of that is that the evil villain who essentially owns the theater now just decided,
the Chris Cooper
you can have it back. Because he got hit in the head with the bowling ball, and became silly, I guess, or dead. I don't.
Is it weird that I think of Chris Cooper and the Muppets as being he must be kin to Christopher Walken's character in the Country Bears movie. Oh no! Bear Hall has been destroyed! time after time.
I would love to see those two team up in one movie. Try to, I don't know, like, kill the Care Bears or something. Something real fucking stupid. Like, what? We haven't had, like, a fucking stupid-ass reboot of the Care Bears yet.
Oh my god, we haven't! We've had 4 bad animated movies.
They have real trained bears. Like there's just a director that has this really weird vision, and they're literal dyed bears.
Gonna dye the bears different colors. Gonna tattoo a heart onto the one that's Tenderheart and a rain cloud onto Grumpy, and it'll be great.
And all the dialogue is just bear growls. Like,
subtitle: Care Bear Stare.
It's like a nature documentary, but like really, it's like Grizzly Man made the Care Bears.
Grizzly Man with Christopher Walken and Chris Cooper.
Oh my God. And that's right, yeah, of course. There'd be these real live action, like, colorized bears with Gary Cooper and Christopher Walken being like, you can't stop us!
Wait, Gary Cooper?
Wait,
We're gonna have Gary Cooper's dead body?
I screwed it up. Chris Cooper. Gary Cooper can be in it too.
Cool. I like Gary Cooper.
He could be... it's a Gary Cooper Care Bear. Like, there's, like, happiness, there's sadness, there's just Gary Cooper.
And there's His Girl Friday Care Bear.
It's like, Gary Cooper's pretty alright.
Screwball comedy.
You don't want to get hit by the Gary Cooper stare. Just never stop watching his movies. Like, man, why do you like Gary Cooper so much? Let me tell you about a weird fucking pink bear in the woods that just changed my life. Like, Grandpa, you need more meds.
I hope someone animates this podcast someday and animates the Chris Cooper, Christopher Walken, Grizzly Man movie featuring the Care Bears.
Okay, listen, I'm okay with Chris Cooper, Christopher Walken being animated, but I need someone to go out and try to paint a real bear. I'm gonna have Werner Herzog film that documentary. Like,
Save
a guy that's tried to paint a bear.
Save the polar bears. Take them from the melting Arctic and paint them.
Just like, what if all the bears are like different colors of the rainbow? It's so stupid. Look, a macaroni and cheese colored bear. Like,
or would it be like that? Painted real bears? Or would you just do it like, I don't know, the Jungle Book remake? I feel like that'd be less awesome.
It could be good that way. I liked the Jungle Book remake a lot.
Yeah.
But I don't want this to be a good movie. I just want it to be an interesting movie.
Jungle Book remake, also starring one Christopher Walken.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be like you. Oh, I want to walk like you and talk like you too. Ooh.
I don't think it's that bad.
It wasn't. I did exaggerate, but I listened to it. I heard the review of it from wherever on last summer. It's like, oh yeah, Christopher Walken sings this one. What? Like, I haven't heard him sing since the Hairspray movie. Oh my goodness! And I just listened to it on YouTube, and I'm like, oh my god, you can't be serious. It's but the thing is, like, he's King Louie, in the Jungle Book, and he's singing like, ooh, and all I can do is I think of when he did Lady Gaga lyrics on whatever talk shows, like, right. I get 'em hot, show 'em what I got. Oh, ooh, ow, ooh, ooh. Can't read my poker face.
That's such a brain fart. I don't even know what movie were we even talking about.
We were talking about
I know we're talking about Care Bears, but you just referenced Christopher Walken in. Right.
We're talking about Care Bears. John
the
Wick.
Jungle Book. He was in the Jungle Book.
Jungle Book.
You made me have a thought. There's a third thought that I had earlier. That
what was the third story?
Oh, no, okay. I'll interrupt me trying to remember my other thought. Basically, I remember seeing the Lego movie, and all it was is that I had that feeling like it's going to be a long time before I see another movie I love this much. Then Inside Out came along, and I felt the same thing, and yeah, there are a lot of good movies this year. I guess the void has been filled.
Oh, yeah. I think this year I've had expectations exceeded a lot. Maybe that's because I've seen pretty mediocre films in the past few years, but Spider-Man Homecoming, Wonder Woman, John Wick 2,
Baby Driver,
Get Out. Baby Driver, Get Out. Oh yeah, I must slap myself on the wrist because that is something that exceeded expectations even more than John Wick. Both are...
Honestly, I thought that was the movie you were going to talk about.
It should have been. I'm a terrible person. Get Out had better cleanup at award season this year. Or I don't know. I guess Cinema Awards haven't really come around.
No, not yet.
Not yet. But yeah, it will. Like, it has to. It's such a polished film. It's such... great lighting, great cinematography. Effects, writing, everything about it, just all from a guy's first project. Oh my god, Jordan, buddy, you need to make more like this, and I hope that you do, but...
here's a fun fact. Spider-Man Homecoming and Get Out were both movies directed by people that came from sketch comedy backgrounds.
That's right. That's very right.
Because John Watts, I believe, did Spider-Man Homecoming. I had been following his YouTube channel years before they started getting into Hollywood. And I loved their sketches. I'm sad that they don't make more sketches. I guess I'm happy because, Spider-Man's a pretty big deal. But
I guess it's okay.
there's something really inspiring to me about sketch people going the distance like that. Also, I remember my other thought I was going to say.
Yes.
Wasn't it Louis Armstrong is the one that's like, I see them there in apple's tail. It's my Louis Armstrong impression.
I see skies of blue, clouds of white. Yes, that is Louis
not
Armstrong.
as good as mine. Anyway, he voiced King Louis in the original Jungle Book, right?
No, he didn't.
Not him?
No, a Louis jazz musician did.
Okay.
A very famous, not as famous as Louis Armstrong, but a rather famous Louis named jazz musician voiced King Louis. But you were saying?
I feel like the performance in the original animated version just does not match. Because I imagine it's very soulful. Like, ooh, ooh. And then Christopher Walken's like, ooh, ooh, ooh. Like, it's just... One of them is, like, real happy to be there. The other one's like, we gotta solve a mystery today. Like, they sound very different.
Christopher Walken sounds like he wants to solve a mystery.
I don't know.
Or like Scooby-Doo.
Christopher Walken's affectations just makes it sound like I'm on the cusp on another clue. He sounds like he's in the middle of something. It's just, I think why people like him.
Listen here, Gumshoe. I got a new lead on the guy who's stealing all the kumquats.
Wouldn't he make a great detective, though?
Wasn't he, though? In,
The Country Bears, that's right. I don't know.
He's a lumber guy in the Country Bears. But, a video game for, like, the Sega CD or something.
Oh, I mean...
With the cigar or something. Or you're not going to count that.
I know what that is, but I don't know if I'd count that as, like...
Where he eats the cigar.
A satisfying performance of Christopher Walken being a detective.
This guy is unfucking believable.
Someone needs to get on that, though. Not that,
Christopher Walken detective.
I don't care.
Bro's getting old. Maybe he can be. Maybe he can be the Question in the DC animated universe, DC extended universe. That'd be great.
I don't know what that is.
The Question is a DC superhero. You know Rorschach from Watchmen, right?
Yeah!
You like Watchmen. Rorschach is maybe mostly. I think more based in mostly on the question. The question has like a plastique mask over his face that's blank, so he's like a blank face, and he wears like a fedora, a suit, tie, gloves, all that, and he's like the Justice League's or the DC Universe's like conspiracy theorist, gumshoe, like kind of pulpy, 1930s back in the day, like crime solving guy, but to update him for the modern world, they make him Mr. Conspiracy Theory. At least I assume that's what he was like in the recent comics. He was definitely like that in Justice League Unlimited during its run in the mid 2000s, and then I don't know what event comic this happened in, but he was replaced with Renee Montoya, who is a supporting character in the Batman comics. She was part of Commissioner Gordon's team. She became the new Question. And to the best of my knowledge, she is still the Question today. But
okay, I just barely made it through that explanation. Brandon, here's my question.
Yeah.
You said you were disappointed with my treehouse story. This has haunted me for years. Ever since you said that, I've had many sleepless
30
nights.
minutes.
But here's the interesting thing, is that you said it ties into disappointment. Do you think you were disappointed because you expected the story to result in a discussion about how I actually went through with it?
Yes, and I wanted some sort of extra funny anecdote about you actually calling someone and doing something.
I see. But if I had set it up from the get-go, I just made it seem like it was something I wanted to try to do, but it never actually happened, then it might have been less disappointing, because then you might have been focusing on like the absurdity of like, wow, like, in a treehouse, like a sex line, a gay sex line, you actually wanted to do this and get a landline for it. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting though, because just the way I presented it made it way more disappointing for you.
That's right. And so like the same way a critic might present a film subjectively, however you decide to interpret their work will affect the way you see a film at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, the Captain Underpants movie, it was interesting because I watched that movie and it had been a really long time since I saw or read the books. And I thought it was a very good movie. It was really fun, but then I went to research the books. I should have just read them, but instead I researched them. And I realized that there were a lot of great ideas in the books that weren't used in the movie. And I get that sometimes, you
you're talking about 7 books. You can't fit all of them into the movie. I was surprised, like, they're going to have this villain and this villain and this one. Like, that's like 3 books.
But that's the thing. They really only had one villain, but I just feel like there were ideas, really fun, interesting ideas in the actual Poopy Pants book that I wish they had zeroed in on for this movie. I wish the movie had been straight up based off one. I don't mind if they like combined the first book with the fourth book, but it felt like they just really redid a lot of ideas. Like there's a whole thing about evil talking toilets that ate people, and as a spoiler, there's a cameo by them at the end, but the real toilet centerpiece is like this big toilet robot.
The Turbo Toilet 2000.
And the whole time I'm thinking, was that in the books?
That was the second book, yeah.
Yeah, well, I don't think it is the Turbo Toilet 2000, because it was a robot. It wasn't...
No, yeah.
It was a robot in the toilet thing? It wasn't alive?
What happens in the second book is one of their classmates is like really, really smart, and he develops basically a magic copy machine that if you have an image and you photocopy it, it'll like sputter and whiz and splatter whatever, and then out of the machine will pop an actual object. So if like I drew an apple and I scanned it,
I see
it would pop out. So I think the inciting incident in the book was like George and Harold are like, oh, we got to make copies of a comic book, otherwise stakes. And they copy each of the Captain Underpants comic that they made, where he fights off all these toilets, including the Turbo Toilet 2000, and then they all get spat out of the machine.
So there's the Turbo Toilet 2000, and there's the Alive toilets. Because they're definitely alive toilets.
There's the army of talking toilets, I think they're called.
They're all in the same book, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, because that's the thing. They just sort of combined Poopy Pants with some of the toilet story with the Robo Toilet, and then separately had the Alive toilet show up at the end. I'm just thinking, like, this. If you're not paying attention to the books, this is fine. But the books made me realize that it could have been much more. It's weird. I don't want to call the movie sloppy. I don't feel that it was sloppy, but it made the movie feel sloppier because I think those ideas were presented in an even better way in the books. So it wasn't something I was thinking about as an audience member. I was watching the movie and I was totally satisfied, but the books made me realize, wait a minute, this could have been done differently and in a better way, I think. Or at least a faithful way. I think I'm almost more interested in a faithful adaptation than a unique one.
How recently did you see it?
Pretty much when it came out, so about a month ago.
I have read the books, and I'm a big Captain Underpants fan, so I'm going to lightning round fire some questions at you just to make my own assessment of what I think of it.
Sure.
Are Dr. Diaper and the two robots in it?
No.
Okay, because he's in the first one. Is Professor Poopy Pants' his plot isn't to change everyone's name, but to get rid of fun or something like that?
Get rid of laughter.
Get rid of laughter, okay. Are you familiar with the plot of the fourth book?
I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to get rid of laughter.
No, he is sick and tired of people laughing at his last name because he comes from like this weird European country where everyone has funny names, like Ivana go to the bathroom or something like that, and his name is Pippi P Poopy Pants, and he gets to like this science convention. He has these two inventions called the Shrinky Pig 2000 and the Goosey Grow 4000. The Shrinky Pig it's kind of like Ant-Man's technology. It can shrink things down to the molecular size, and then the Goosey Grow can expand things on a molecular scale. And people are like, oh wow, these eventually will change the world. And then they're like, wait, what's your name? And he's like, my name is Professor Poopy Pants. And then everyone laughs and like can't take him seriously. Never mind that these things are like the greatest inventions of all time and can help solve world hunger and pollution, but
they had that scene in the movie.
Oh, they did, yeah. So then he goes to like substitute teach at George and Harold School, and they laugh at him there too. So then his plot becomes, I will make my Gerbil Jogger 2000 grow to like Godzilla sized, and I will forcibly make every person on the planet change their name according to this handy dandy flowchart.
Yeah, I remember that. I forget what my name was, but I remember.
Me too. That. It was something lame actually. I'm like, oh, I wanted a dopier one.
Yeah.
A dorkier one.
But that's that's my feeling on the matter.
Mm-hmm. So I'm glad you brought up Captain Underpants. I think just close out this segment with something we've talked about previously, which is that Captain Underpants was DreamWorks, but the Despicable Me movies are from Illumination.
Yes.
And we've sort of come to expect with them a middle-of-the-road, good, not great, maybe even mediocre kind of movie. If we continue not to expect more of them, do you think we can appreciate this film series or film production over time?
Totally. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I don't think it's a great thing. Obviously, I think it's better to expect great things and then find them great or even better. But if you want to be an average movie and succeed at that, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. I like Illumination a little bit better than you, but I don't think they're great.
Yeah.
I found myself really enjoying Despicable Me 3. I think one thing they do...
I was going to say, did you see Despicable Me 3?
One thing I think they do a really good job of is they do not spend time on things I don't think anyone will give a fuck about.
Like,
basically, all right, so Gru has a twin brother in this movie.
What's his name?
Drew. But my name is Argo, so we...
Anyway, go on.
Basically, it's just like a line that just explains, yeah, this is why I have a twin, and it makes sense. That's it. They don't extrapolate on it, and I go, that's fine. You don't need to. And I like it. It's simple, and it just makes you realize there aren't a lot of movies doing that these days, and I appreciate depth, but there's got to be something to be said about movies that are just like, yep, that's that. Let's move on. By the way, real quick, there's another segment I think you wanted to get to, and I think we're running out of time.
Oh, no, I was about to go right into that.
Oh, perfect, okay.
Yeah, it's time for our weekly recurring segment, Fuck Yeah, This Week. And here's where the musical cue would be.
Yeah,
if we had one.
I'll edit this part out.
Will you?
I mean, no.
Okay.
Come on and gather round and come on and gather round and come on and gather round. It's time to Fuck Yeah This Week. Yes.
So this part of the review is where we just talk about something that happened to us in the past week or couple of weeks that just had no reason being there, but just improved our week in the most, or even day, in just the most miraculous of ways. And I'll start. Last Thursday or Friday, I was mailing something at the post office, and I had to do it by certified mail. So, certified mail, if you've ever done it, it's like, people know that it's you sending the mail, and it's like under seal, and it's not anthrax, I guess. So, I woke up and like, hey, I'd like to send something by certified mail, please. He's like, all right, I'll get you an envelope and some stamps, and then we'll put the seal right on. And I'm like, okay. So I'm writing down my home address. I'm writing down the address, put the stamp on, and then he's like prepping the seal ready, and he just goes, doop, 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 doop. Would you like your receipt? Oh, no, I'm good, thanks. I'll just swipe my card. Cool. Doop, 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 doop. All right, you all set. Have a nice day. I'm like, okay. And I looked, just like, what? You made the most mundane task somewhat whimsical. And it wasn't like, it wasn't on pitch. It was just 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. Like, that's it.
I don't... This happened recently enough, probably within the month.
Yeah.
Maybe even sooner. I can't think of anything from this week specifically, but I remember I was driving in my neighborhood. I was going to work, and there was a car that pulled out in front of me, and it was going a lot slower than me. Not that I was speeding or anything. I was going the speed limit. It just... I almost wondered if it was going slower, as if to send me that message like, hey, speed racer, why don't you slow it down?
Ah, ooh, ah.
I mean, we don't live in, Cars 2, Cars 3 worlds where cars can actually talk to you. My dream come true. So, but it is interesting how cars, not being an anime, can give off body language. That's kind of what I was getting the vibe of. Not that I cared. But this guy happened to be going the exact same route as me, and this is a route that has a lot of different roads. So I started freaking out, thinking that I was following him, because I was pissed off. Again, this is just speculation. I noticed the car speeding up at a certain point, going, "Oh, okay, man, I'm sorry." So I remember the road was a 55, and this guy was going 50. I was right behind him, and all of a sudden, hey, look at that, he's going 60, that's nice. And I remember at one point there's a green arrow, and it just became a red arrow, and he sped down that road, because he got there, and I didn't, but then it became a green light really quickly, and I caught up to him. It is still another 3 minutes until I finally pulled off. But for 20 minutes, I think that guy thought that someone was gonna run him off the road and shoot him.
Did you ever make eye contact? Or?
No, he was always in front of me. I don't think he knew what I looked like.
And then you pulled into work before he could.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm not going to torture the poor guy by continuing to follow him. I feel bad for I do, but what else was I supposed to do? I'm not going to be like, well, let me go out of my way because he thinks I might kill him.
Roll down. Just roll down the window and was like, I don't have a gun.
I'm not going to kill you.
Well, this was a spectacular, spooktacular first episode. Drew, if the folks watching or listening at home want to find you on the Twitterverse, where can they find you?
You can find me at Channel Awesome or at Doug Walker Sucks PPs.
Please send all hate mail to Brian Williams, care of NBC News.
Oh my god, this will be fun. I'm just gonna rip on Doug Walker for every podcast for literally no reason.
It's great to have a gag. But yeah, where can they follow you?
Oh, I don't know. I don't really use Twitter that much.
Oh, okay.
I haven't updated in months.
You can follow me at Brandon Stark. That's Brandon with a D-A-N. If you're feeling up to it.
You can fax me if you feel like it. Give
Drew's,
me a fax.
Drew's one of the 10 people in the state that still uses a fax machine. The other place being my freaking job, but whatever. We don't really... We have it, but we really do not use it all that much because email! Anyway.
Also, my Twitter's private, so they're not going to be able to follow it.
Oh. Well.
But you're also literally missing nothing because I basically don't use it anymore.
Yeah. Well,
we'll have to work on that, though. I don't know. For that, seriously, just fax me.
Yeah. Fax Drew.
I feel like there's information I'm supposed to give out in order to let them fax me.
No, just fax him.